ich kann es selber machen.
Ah, gut.
Weißt du, so das Video. Aber danke. My name is Shaquille. I was born and raised here in Zurich, Switzerland. And I consider myself as a Swiss citizen because I have the pass and stuff. And what I see is extremely shocking right now. Basically, I see Switzerland becoming the second world country like Germany. And this has nothing to do with racism, but the amount of foreigners, the amount of population that are coming inside in this country, they are changing the population and so fast that also the economy suffers because of it. It is really crazy. When you was born and raised in this country and you're working a hard labor job on construction, plumber, electrician, doesn't matter. And you do the hard work, right? You sacrifice yourself early in the morning, but you cannot rent an apartment. You cannot afford an apartment. The housing prices are so high, and the amount of food, the amount of resources, everything is going up. And the wealth of Switzerland is declining. People have lesser money, they cannot afford anymore to spend, to make doom spending. I was born and raised here in this country, and I have to say, I never worried about money. Money was the last thing that I thought about. But unfortunately, now the economy changed. And the amount of foreign people that came here is so vastly. And all those people coming for the resources of Switzerland. And Switzerland has only a specific amount of resources. But when everyone is coming, they all take the resources and eat the houses, they eat the groceries, they take everything that they can get their hands, and this country will become a second world country. I will predict that because I'm heavily interested in politics, in economics. Those are themes that I'm vastly into it, and I've studied those things: leftism, rightism, communism, socialism, you name it, capitalism. And what I see is a massive decline in this country. Sometimes you look at corners of the city because, listen, we live in Switzerland. We have the highest standard of food, of housing, of apartments. Everything is better than in the rest of the world, especially compared to Europe. But what I see a decline. I look at specific corners around the city and I see that there are places that are so packed with dirt. It is incredibly how the place changed. 10, 15 years ago, you never saw such a dirty corner that you see here. It is crazy. And also, like, you feel punked. As a Swiss citizen living in this day and age, a normal worker, an employee that does a normal labor job, works on construction, works as a, you name it, right? Like, as a normal employee. They go, they sacrifice themselves, they work hard every day. Fucking man. The Spanish guy that I told you, for example, he has pain in his hands, in his back, everything. His hands are burned because he was using the machine of the demolition machine for 2.5 months. And he cannot afford an apartment here. And why? Because the prices are so incredibly high, because Switzerland is a socialist country who lets everyone in. And the problem is, when you let everyone in, you create conditions that are unlivable for everyone. And it's just a time matter. It matters over time. And I see, and I'm sad for Swiss people, because I have the feeling in myself that I want to do the right thing. And then when I see them in the train, you are in the train station or they are in the train, you look at these citizens, these Swiss people. They look around. They don't see common people anymore. They don't see their fellow people anymore. You only hear English or every other language besides Swiss German. The whole population got exchanged. They all take the resources from Zurich, from Switzerland. All the apartments get more expensive, and for everyone, it is less pleasurable to live in the city. But nobody talks about it. The media is not covering it. The politicians don't stand behind those Swiss citizens and protect them. And you only see exchange, decline in wealth, decline in health. Everything People have to pay more and the gap get wider. The gap between rich and poor got so widened in the last 4 or 5 years, incredible. So you have a lot of people in Switzerland, in Zurich especially, they have ton of money, ton. They can buy the whole city. But then you have a lot, and I'm speaking like for 70% of the people, it gets tighter every week, every month. The rents are increasing, everything is becoming tighter. You walk around the train station, for example, Zurich HB, during rush hours, you are in clinch with people. You cannot move as you want anymore. And I don't see my fellow people anymore. I really think like this country changed, the whole population got exchanged, and everyone is getting poorer, everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a foreigner, if you're from living here, the conditions are worsening here. And I cannot recommend you to come to Switzerland and to work here and to live here. Because we are becoming a second-class country, like Germany, like France, and like Italy. And I tell you what these people will doing. Not because they are bad people, but I tell you the truth what they will do. They will eat this country, spit it out, and then go to another country and do the same thing. As they did in Italy, as they did in Germany, as they did in France. This country will go downhill, I predict it. 5-10 years, Swiss citizens will be way poorer because you see the population exchange. And it is crazy. It never happened like this. The own people don't recognize themselves in their country anymore. It hasn't to do anything with racism. Look at me. But I tell you, everyone around us gets hurt in this process because everyone is losing wealth. Everyone has to pay more for health, for food, for housing, for so many things, for the infrastructures. You have to pay more government fees. You have to pay more for insurance for the government because all the people use more services and they are coming from everywhere. So I predict the downfall of this country. I give it 5 to 10 years because I study economics, I study politics. I know what's happening and I see the wealth exchange. And I'm here to document it, to tell the truth and to stand for my people that are sacrificing themselves every day, that are working hard, but cannot afford their apartments and have to think about it day by day, how they will survive, how they can cover this bill, and always new bills are coming in, and they don't know what to do. This is the reality. This starts to become a reality of one of the richest countries in the world. No. Also, this status. I tell you something about Zurich. I give you my definition of Zurich. Not everything that glitters is gold. And Switzerland, Zurich, is definitely this definition for me. And what else do I see? I also see a broken system. Because the hard workers, the people that are doing the 9 to 5 here, don't get recognized, don't get appreciated, firstly. And secondly, they cannot survive with their average work. They put in the hours, but they cannot afford to raise a family. They cannot afford to have kids without a woman, without the other part that also has to sacrifice themselves. And also, like, for example, I make the simple example, like, I'm a 26-year construction worker. I work my ass off in this country day by day. I cannot afford an apartment, let alone raise a family. And now get yourself this. You call this place the richest country? But when I have a kid, firstly, I cannot afford an apartment on my own with doing the full 100% working shifts that I do on the construction, which is heavily demanded and which takes everything out of me and leaves me crippled when I'm 65. Firstly this. Secondly then, even doing all that, I cannot afford to rent an apartment for my own. So how can I become an adult and leave my family and start to become a man that can raise his kids, that can continue with his own life, if the economy, which you, by the way, call the richest country, cannot provide that for me? So firstly. Secondly, then we talk about kids. So even I can't afford myself an apartment. How will I afford a kid? I mean, listen, the prices are so incredibly high. So that means that you need to find a wife who is able to compromise herself and who will do the working shifts also like I do. But not slowly, because after the kid is born, she only has 5 weeks to rest. And after those 5 weeks, she needs to put in the work as well. Otherwise, we won't make it. So just think about it. In what a sick society we live in when you have a mother who raised a kid, who just freshly born her kid, and after 5 weeks she has to put in the work. Imagine this. And also, it means that the child, the newborn baby, is getting in this country, in Switzerland, and in all other countries, because I think it is an agenda who wants to kill us or something like that. Otherwise, I can't explain it. And imagine like this. The newborn baby, freshly born, 5 weeks old, gets disconnected after 5 weeks and put in an institution which they will take care of the kid for as long as they can. Because they have to raise the kid, because the mother needs to work as well, because the father doesn't make enough money to afford living for the mother, so that the mother don't need to put in the hours. But it's not possible anymore today in Switzerland. Today, both parents have to work, and in many cases 100%. In order to afford one kid, we're talking about one kid, not about 2, 3 or 4 kids, we're talking about one kid. Then you have one kid, and so that basically just means that in order to have one kid in this country, you need to be upper middle class. Imagine this. And then I talked about all the difficulties to maintain and to acquire one kid, how difficult that is and how insane. Even in second and third world countries, you don't have to put that much effort in it. Then secondly, let's talk about the birth rate. The birth rate in this country is 1.38. In order to maintain a society, you need a birth rate of 2.0. So the population doesn't get maintained. We are actually shrinking. And now they compensate it with a lot of foreigners. But the problem is not that. The problem has nothing to do with ethnicity. It has something to do. They come in a lot, so many, and taking all the resources. And then you have even more inequality. And also a big problem that we have is we have a banking system that is benefiting bankers instead of the hardworking people. When you have money on a bank, they only need to have 10% fluently for you so that you can withdraw the money. And with the other 90%, they have it on them and they gamble. They bet on housing, on the economy in general. And when they make profit out of it, you don't see a dime. You will see nothing. They will take the profit for themselves, buy the whole country, buy every house that is left, profit out of it, and raise the inequality. And you have a system that is so sickened and so in a disadvantage for hardworking people and so in an advantage for exploitative behavior, for psychopathic behavior. And I ask myself always where it's going to lead, because you see the downfall. And I don't know what to say. I'm heavily disappointed because of the politicians. Honestly, I have to say, politicians, I hate you, because you're doing such a disservice for your own people. You're doing genocide to your own people. And I'm not even talking about me. I'm talking about the people that are really the people from here. You do these disservices. Secondly, you let them build it and maintain this country, and you will not give them the credit they deserve. You don't give them a proper banking system that is in favor of them. You don't give him media that is in favor of the people who see all this change and see the decline, but you're not supporting them. And I feel like somebody has to step in, has to cover the issues, has to stand, because this is the important thing, guys. I stand for my people. I do this not because of my selfishly. Yeah, of course, it would be nice if I would be someone or something. Everyone has this human desire, but I stand for my people and I want to see my people thrive. And my people is everyone, the world are my people. But when we have the whole world in one place, doesn't work out, brother. Will never work out. If you're at Long Street in Zurich, Switzerland, and you like martial arts, check this out. This is the Budo store. Sorry. This is a very nice store. I was there a couple of times and I really like the equipment. And I only can advocate for it. So basically, like everything. Shoes, boxing shoes. Nice trousers and stuff. Shirts, everything. Pads to hold. They look nice. Yeah, anyway, because I cannot always I cannot always talk about those negative issues, because they are really taking a toll on me, as you can see it. I talk a lot about it, and it is on my mind most of the time, because I was born and raised in this country, and when you see a country changing like the way it is, and yeah, it affects you. It affects you as a Swiss citizen, even your ethnicity is different. But yeah, and sometimes you just need to get out of your head and watch beautiful stuff. I love that. But with the 8 weapons, because it's a product from Thailand, and the Thais are slim, they are not that tall people, so the size they oftentimes have only small sizes. Because I bought last time one of these, and it was a little bit too short for me. Yeah. This is actually the shirt that I'm wearing today because I bought it here. Oh, check it out if you're in Switzerland, in Zurich.